and gentlemen, let's go.
Travel, life, and fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go.
You're listening to the Life Adventurous Podcast, presented by Say What Radio.
The Life Adventurous Podcast is for fun-loving people who want to find, create, and live with adventure as a norm in their lives. Not just that type of adventure that makes you shit your pants, but the type of adventure that lights up your soul and helps you to feel even more alive. I'm Jenny Holla, your podcast host, and welcome to Your Life Adventure. Hey, welcome to another episode. I'm really excited for today's topic, and I think you'll really enjoy it, and I'll give you some good action steps that you can take for your life. So let's get started. All right, so I've been hearing a lot of people saying, I really want to go back to normal. Heck, I've even thought it too. I've been thinking man, I just want to go back to normal. And then I've been pausing and thinking, well, what really is normal? What is normal anyways? So I looked up the definition, just curious what the actual definition is. And normal as an adjective is conforming to a standard, usual, typical, or expected. And as a noun, it's the usual, average, or typical state or condition. Okay, so that makes sense. But I think in life, why would you want to go back to a normal, right? Especially when something has changed so dramatically. So based on what's going on right now in the world, this virus has completely, dramatically changed a lot of things in our life. But even outside of the virus, and you think about other things that may dramatically change your life. For example, breaking up or going through a divorce, losing a job, not being able to make payments on a house or losing a house, or maybe it's someone or something has really hurt you and you've lost a friend. There's a lot of different things that happen to us in life that completely change our normal every day. And when these things happen, I believe that what's really important to sit into is really think about expectations and reality. And when you think about these two words, if you've ever really paid attention to the areas that you are most frustrated in life, there's a good chance that you've had some kind of an expectation associated with that circumstance in life, which has led to frustration, anger, anxiety, stress, whatever the case is. So for example, maybe it's in a relationship, you expected somebody to do something. Or maybe if you go out to eat or something, you expect the service to be a certain way. Or maybe when you travel, you expect something to look a certain way. And then when it doesn't meet your expectation, you are crushed and upset. And so one of the things that when we talk about what is normal is really thinking about what expectations do you have and then what's reality, and even thinking about how can you be present in the moment and noticing when you have expectations and when you're trying to control what's going on or you're trying to control outcomes, and realizing that there's just some things that aren't worth controlling and aren't worth having expectations on because they lead to added anxiety and stress. And so let's just say I'm thinking, oh my God, I just want everything to go back to normal. And nothing will ever go back to normal. Like I said, when something in life happens, nothing's going to go back to normal. Like you're not going to go through a breakup or lose a job and go back to the same normal that you experienced prior to that event happening. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to be the same state or condition because we are ever evolving. We're always changing. We're always growing. There's always new things happening in our life. And if you are constantly wanting things to be the way they were, it's almost as if you are continuing to build into additional stress and anxiety that could be, and most likely is, impacting your life in the now and in the present moment. If you're living in the present moment, and this is something that I am going through myself and living myself as well, living in the present moment, there are no expectations. You don't know what's going to happen a moment from now. I could get a phone call. You could hear from a friend. The electric could go out. My podcast recorder could die while I'm doing this. I mean, there's so many things that could happen. So if I start expecting certain things to happen or trying to control the situation, it just adds a lot of stress and anxiety where you could just be extremely present and open in the moment and release all that extra. For me, when I think about the stress and anxiety, I just think about the way it shows up in my body. I don't know if you've ever paid attention, but when you have those feelings, pay attention to where they show up in your body. For me, I usually get shorter breath and I feel it in my chest, or I feel like I have less choice. I feel like I'm not able to control. I feel like I can't make certain decisions when I feel stress or anxiety. I feel like there's only one way out, and the one way out is not always the best way out. And, it really kind of feels limiting to me. When I'm present in the moment and I'm released from that stress and anxiety and any type of control that I expect to have on a situation, I feel so much lighter. It feels easier to laugh and have fun. It feels easier to attract amazing things into my life. It feels easier to be creative and to have things flow. And that's a state that I actually prefer, and it's likely that you do too. And so if you start paying attention as the world is changing, or as your world changes when certain things take place that rock your world, is just really think, how am I feeling that I am trying to control an outcome, or what are my expectations? Really think about those things. I'm going to bring up a couple of things, and I'm not bringing these up to have, do you agree or do you not agree? I'm just bringing them up as examples in the present day. So as the country, United States, opens back up in different areas, whether you agree or not, it's happening, right? And as the country opens back up, there are different aspects of your life that are going to be really different. And so I'm already starting to see this. So I played volleyball in a league, and I got notice that volleyball is going to start soon. And they have a very clear plan for how to keep people flowing and away from each other, and a flow and an exit. And so previously, the normal was you show up at the place, you hang out, you go warm up, you hang out with your friends, kind of relax, then you go play. Well, now the rules are stay in your car until a certain amount of time before your game, show up, only enter on this side, don't go anywhere else. There's no balls to practice with. Bring your own. Don't touch anybody. Stay at this table only. Do not enter until this happens. Like, there's a lot of different rules about how to do this. When you're done, leave. There's nowhere to rinse off your feet with all the sand. That's it. It's very different rules. And so I could be very upset about the fact that volleyball is way different going forward, or really just go with the flow. Like I said, this isn't about whether you agree with whether volleyball's open or not. It's an example of how something's very different. I don't necessarily like all these different things. I want to go back to normal. But the thing is like I said in the beginning, what is normal? There really is no normal. It's a matter of how you perceive a situation or how you choose to look at something, so that it's just different. You need to be open and willing to look at things differently. And maybe volleyball's not for you anymore. Maybe it is. I don't know. You have to really judge and think about those things for your life. Or salons, hair salons. There's certain rules that different salons are putting out about the way that you should show up, and you have to have this, and if you don't have that, you need to reschedule, and that's different. The girl I go to, she puts out a little drink and a cute little chocolates, and she's like, hey, I can't do that anymore, so sorry. You know what I mean? She's not a jerk about it, but those are some of the things that I like. And I'm like, oh, I just want my snacks back. And I'm not rushing the salon right now, but things will be different. Even things that haven't really fully opened up yet, traveling and flying. As you know, if you've listened to previous episodes, I was on planes 3.5 weeks out of the month. And I have a certain flow about flying and a certain comfort level based on what I've experienced in the past. And when I go to an airport again for the first time after all of this, things will be different. And I can complain about it, right? Like, remember back 9/11 when things changed and you had to go through different levels of security and take off your shoes and things changed and everybody got really upset. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. This is crap. I mean, that's just a lot of wasted energy complaining about something that you have absolutely no control over. I mean, you can send a letter to the whatever complaining about it, but like day in and day out, always complaining about how you have to go through these steps. I mean, it just is what it is. I'm sure there'll be new steps at the airport in order to fly, and whether they're temporary or long-term, those are some of the things that are just going to be different. And so, once again, as I share these examples, I think it's important to be aware of what's going on, but reduce your expectations, realize that there's certain things you don't have control over, and when it comes to your new normal, if it comes to businesses and businesses you're going to do business with, if they have rules that you don't agree with, then maybe you find a different business and you do business with someone else instead of getting mad at the business for changing the rules. But if we go bigger, and I don't want to go so micro with all these things that are going to be changing, I want to step back and go a little bit bigger, because I believe that this is a perfect time to be able to have a clean slate, have the time to really think and shift your perspective and really create what your new normal is. So in order to do this, you have to be willing to look through a different lens. And this could be you had a bad breakup or a divorce, or you've lost a job, or maybe you want to find a new job because you're bored with what you're doing. Maybe you want to move somewhere. Maybe you're just itching for something different. Whatever it is, the more flexible you can be in any of these processes that are happening to you, the better it's going to be. And so in order to create your new normal, I believe there's a series of steps. I don't know, it's probably like 4 or 5 steps that you would go through, because they're going to be fluid and some of them will go faster than others. That's why it's not a set A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But really, when you're creating your new normal, number 1 is releasing your expectations and any need to control the situation. That will be the most important. Then what I want you to do is to just take a moment to reset and take 3 deep breaths, 3 slow, deep breaths. So you're basically going to just breathe in and exhale. If you did that with me, you maybe even noticed a difference and a change of state for yourself. So from there, remember that when you're creating a new normal, you're creating the new path for life that you're wanting to take, is you want to ground yourself in a positive mindset. So do whatever it takes to make sure you're vibing on a high vibration. And what I mean by that is listen to inspiring things such as this podcast or other leaders and other people that you admire who have positive inspiration. Tony Robbins is great, amongst many other people. So make sure you're putting the good stuff in to your brain so that it can give you a good base to be able to grow from, because we're only limited by our minds and what we believe is possible for our life. And so the more that you can fuel that and build that up, the better off you're going to be. So after that, you're going to, step 3 is you're going to allow yourself to dream and think big with no judgment. And really just think, like, what is it that I want in my life? What is it that I want to create? What is it that I want to create for this time period? What is it that I want to create for me and my family? Like whatever, maybe you're looking at the next year, maybe you're looking at long term, and there's a lot of different ways to do this. Or maybe you're just looking like, hey, how do I want to show up after this event? Like, how do I want to be different? How do I want to be stronger? So really just allow yourself to think big, let it flow, get all of it out, no judgment on any of them. If something comes to mind like, oh, you should write a book, and you're like, oh, hell no, who am I to write a book? Like, doesn't matter. Just let it all come out. That way, it's just freeing to let it come out, and that way you can let your brain get even more creative. Then after that, and you can do this right away, or you could do this, a day or so later, is you want to really hone in on what excites you the most and really dig in and find your why. So that way you have something really connected to this process and understanding, like, why do you want to create this? Why is this so important to you? I mean, you can say you want a big house or you want a certain lifestyle or there's something you want, but like, why? What is it going to create for you, or why is that important? So that way you can stay really excited about it, because some things are going to come really quickly and some things are going to take a little bit longer. Some things are going to require more work on your part. There's going to be lots of different scenarios that will lead you there, right? And so really just tapping into what excites you the most and find your why, and then begin to map out a plan of action. And so there's a lot of different ways to do this. I actually wrote a book called Rock Your Lifestyle, and that book is actually perfect for anybody who's wanting to map out the roadmap and have a workbook and different questions to reflect on, to be able to really get clear about what your next steps are, what your new normal is. Actually, so I have 5 left at my house. They're under my maiden name. And I don't have a sales page set up for them right now because we're in the middle of doing some back end stuff. But if you are like, oh my God, I would want that resource to be able to go through, send me an email, holla@2jholla.com, or hit me up on social media, on Instagram, @TheLifeAdventurist, or on Facebook or wherever. So send me a message. Let me know if you're interested. And if there's some left, I'll make sure we'll figure it out. I'll get it to you so that way you can get into action right away. Once it does become available officially again, because I'm going to rebrand it, kind of do a second edition, do some updates, and have my new name on it Then I'll have like a formal page set up. But this book is literally perfect for exactly what we're talking about because it literally takes you through every step and has different questions along the way to help you really reflect and open up and get clear about how to map out your plan for your new normal, for your life. And then, of course, after you do that, go for it, right? Remember to have fun, be playful along the way, but go for it. Remember to ask questions along the way. Be curious, but also don't be afraid to ask for things that you want along the way because you cannot get a yes for the things that you do not ask for. If you never ask, the answer is always no. If you ask and get a no, okay, fine. You're in the same place as you were if you didn't ask, but what if you ask and you get a yes? How much of your life could change with that one question? So regardless of where you're at in the process, remember that you are absolutely in control of how you react to any situation in your life. You have all of the control in the world to choose how you respond. You aren't ever stuck in your life, okay? I believe that the only thing that likely is stuck is your mindset and your beliefs about a situation. So get excited, get fired up, and go create and design your new normal. I can't wait to hear. Shoot me a message or in your stories, tag me on Instagram, let me know, shoot a little video, let me know how that's going. Send me a private message. I'm really excited to hear about what's coming for you. And the next episode, we're going to be talking about something really fun. And that's going to be creating your life adventurous list. So all of these next episodes, I want to make sure that I'm helping you get really inspired right now, despite the heaviness that is surrounding us in many locations, and get really inspired and use this time to really open up and expand and dream bigger and get excited for these next step in life because this is all temporary. Anything that's happening in our life is a temporary situation that once again, we have the ability to choose how we respond to it. So I can't wait to see you next episode and go kick butt. Thank you for listening to the Life Adventurous podcast. If you love this episode, remember to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. For course information, freebies, and to stay connected, join our Ohana, that means family, at www.2jhala.com/Ohana. Remember to stay positive, enjoy the journey, and most of all, keep those eyes open for all of the adventures surrounding you.